In this video, we will take a look at the Basic Payment Scheme Application 2022 and put a focus on forestry. Hello, my name is Tom Houlihan. I work with the Teagasc Forestry Development Department, which provides research, training and advisory supports to the farm forestry sector in Ireland. Today, we will have a brief look at the 2022 Basic Payment Scheme with particular regard to forestry. So at this stage, I will share the presentation slides with you. The topics today include some general issues on the 2022 Basic Payment Scheme. We will look at the range of forestry planting categories and options currently available. Then we will look at the favourable interactions that exist between the Basic Payment Scheme and forestry, which will consider criteria for eligible forestry parcels and the important process of entering forestry parcels in your basic payment submission. I will also identify some important issues to keep in mind when completing the form, and finally outline the range of Teagasc forestry advisory supports available to you. On general basic payment issues, this is the final year of the outgoing Basic Payment Scheme before the new CAP strategic plan covering 2023 to 2027 comes into operation. The submission deadline for the 2022 basic payment is Monday, the 16th of May. Given the significance of this application in terms of the basic payment and indeed other farm schemes, and given its significance in terms of farm income, it is very important to give it the timely attention it deserves. The basic payment is an online application which is accessed via the Ag-Food website as shown. Teagasc advisors are busy and making very good progress with clients on their 2022 applications. An important question to consider in advance is, are there any changes since last year that will need to be taken into account in your application? These include changes in ownership or applicant details, changes in herd number, in land availability, or changes in entitlement status. If there are changes, it is very worthwhile having a short chat with your advisor in advance of your basic payment appointment to notify him or her of relevant changes and also to consider if any extra preparations are needed in advance. This will allow you to get the most from your basic payment appointment. All Teagasc clients will also receive a copy of their application once it's completed and submitted, and are asked to check it thoroughly to ensure it fully and accurately reflects their position regarding ownership, land, and entitlements for 2022. While a new forestry program will be in place from next year in 2023, the 12 planting categories under the current Department of Agriculture, Food and the Marine Forestry program are still available for applicants during 2022. And this slide gives examples of some of those categories. And there are a range of options which include productive conifers, broadleaf options, native woodland categories, and agroforestry options, which combine trees with agriculture. For approved applicants, grants are available which cover the majority or all of the costs of establishment and early management. These grants are in addition to annual income tax-free premiums of up to €680 per hectare per year. A further very important benefit is the capacity to retain the basic payment on land planted with forestry when certain eligibility conditions are met. If we look at these eligibility requirements for forestry parcels, we see eligible land is linked to the land parcel as declared in the year 2008 within the single payment scheme, which was a forerunner to the basic payment scheme. So eligible land that was declared in a single payment scheme application in 2008 and which was planted in any year since 2009 inclusive, or which will be planted this year, can continue to be eligible for a basic payment scheme payment in 2022, provided the land to be planted was declared in a 2008 single payment, and also provided the declared land was eligible and gave a right to payment under the 2008 single payment scheme. Another important requirement: in order to benefit from the basic payment on planted land, the applicant or applicants must be the persons or persons named as the beneficiary or joint beneficiaries of the forestry scheme. So this is important. It means that as the basic payment applicant for eligible forestry, you must also be the person or persons eligible for payment of the forestry premium in the relevant year. This requirement should be fully considered where the farm is being transferred, including within families, and advanced planning is recommended in such scenarios. So to give a notional example, let's say a father transfers his farm, his herd number and entitlements to his daughter. The father retains the existing forestry parcels and the forestry contract also remains in the father's name. However, in the basic payment application, the forestry parcels are now claimed by the daughter. In this situation, the daughter's name is on the herd number and basic payment application, but the father's name is on the forestry contract. So eligibility is not being met and the entitlements are not being used. Advanced planning is required to avoid such scenarios. It should also be borne in mind that all entitlements allocated under basic payment and the National Reserve are subject to a 2-year usage rule. So if a farmer has unused entitlements for 2 consecutive years, under this 2-year rule, the lowest value entitlements held by that farmer revert to the National Reserve in the 2nd year of non-usage. Let's move on to filling in of the forestry parcels in the basic payment application, and the appropriate parcel use to include will depend on the timing of forest establishment. So for parcels planted before 2009, the parcel use to include is forestry. For eligible parcels planted between 2009 and 2021 inclusive, if the parcel use is pre-printed as forestry eligible, leave as is. Otherwise, enter parcel use according to the forestry year or the year of planting. So if the parcel was planted in 2016, enter a parcel use of forestry 2016. These parcels, assuming eligible, will be amended to forestry eligible following basic payment processing. For eligible parcels planted or in the process of being planted in 2022 before the basic payment deadline, the appropriate parcel use is forestry 2022. And for parcels to be planted in 2022 but not yet started at the date of submission of the basic payment, enter the accurate parcel use as of the date of basic payment submission. Applicants should then amend the parcel use online following planting by inputting Forestry 2022 as the parcel use on this online amendment. So a few simple but important issues to look out for in your basic payment application. Give prior consideration to and have details of any changes within parcels at hand for inclusion in your submission. Ensure all relevant parcels are included and that their areas are correct. And the three relevant areas are the digitized area of the overall parcel, the maximum eligible area, or MEA, within the parcel, and the actual area that you will be claiming, or the claimed area. It is essential to ensure the appropriate claimed area is included for all eligible parcels, both forestry and otherwise. In this example, we have an eligible forestry parcel that meets the aforementioned criteria. We see the claimed area is 2.42 hectares. And this correctly aligns with both the digitized and maximum eligible areas. So all of this parcel area is being claimed as forestry eligible. In this example, let's assume again it is also an eligible forestry parcel. The digitized area is 6.1 hectares, but in this case, both the maximum eligible area and the claimed areas are 0. So if the forestry is eligible, then the applicant must request a change to the MEA, or maximum eligible area, to the correct value. So tick the box which refers to request change of MEA located along the row, and a red dialog box will pop up, and the applicant should input the reason for the change. For example, the parcel in question is eligible forestry and meets all the required eligibility criteria. Remember that the applicant must also change the MEA and the claimed area of this forestry parcel by entering the correct hectarage for each. Our Teagasc Forestry Advisory team are based in 8 regions across the country, as outlined on this map, and can offer comprehensive advice on all aspects of forestry for both existing owners and those considering new forestry ventures. Finally, there are many ways to keep in touch with Teagasc Forestry Advisory support. Contact us by phone, email, text, or post. The forestry section of the Teagasc website is packed with useful information, including staff contacts and a new dedicated section on the basic payment and forestry interactions. Within the website, you can also subscribe to the forestry e-newsletter that will keep you right up to date. Over 43,000 Teagasc clients receive a quarterly forestry newsletter and a bi-monthly magazine called Today's Farm, all valuable sources of information, advice, news, and research updates. Our various social media platforms are also a great way to stay in touch. And there is a wide range of very useful short videos to view on the Teagasc Forestry YouTube channel. So we encourage you to keep in touch. So that is the end of today's presentation on the basic payment scheme with particular regard to forestry. I hope you have found it useful, and will finish by wishing you every success in completing this year's basic payment application, and indeed in your future forestry endeavours. Thank you.